Hello, hello, hello. I'm mixing a bit of kind of silver grey and gold, which, it's one of those things, but that's not what's important. What's important is I'm back today with live at 11:45, and I'm going to be quick. I'm going to be quick because I'm currently in the middle of a half VIP day with a client, and we're creating some really great packages for them to put out there. So I wanted to talk about making space to be visible. Now, this is a very surprising yet important part of being visible. And it's what predominantly leads us to comparisonitis. We compare ourselves to other people, and often it's that comparisonitis that stops us from being visible. So let me give you a few examples of what it is and what you can do about it to help. So when we are making space to be visible, sometimes and quite often, all of us will have some form of concern about showing up and putting ourselves out there. We will have concerns about maybe we're trying to do it in secret and trying to stop, just make sure I'm looking in the right place here. We might be doing it in secret, so we might be trying to put ourselves out there and not be in the face of our work colleagues. We might be trying to put ourselves out there and not wanting certain friends or family members to know about it. So quite often we will put ourselves out there and we might look to other people and think, I really like what they're doing and I want to do it as them. So if this is you, listen up. If you have ever struggled with putting yourself out there, if you've ever procrastinated with putting yourself out there and thought it's just because you're a procrastinator, then this episode of Live at 11:45 will really wobble your wellies in a big way, in a good way. Why is this so important? It's important because quite often I see people hide their genius, and they hide their genius because they're so enamoured, so in awe of how somebody does their work or what they do, that they almost start to take on their traits. Have you ever had that where you have watched somebody do their work, and then before you know it, as you're doing your work, as you're selling your services, it's like their voice is coming out of your mouth. Now, here's the reason why I, as a visibility specialist, I know this doesn't work. And I've worked with, I've done thousands of videos and Facebook Lives and webinars. I've worked with hundreds of people now in the last decade, probably thousands of people actually in the last decade. And I've worked with definitely hundreds of businesses to help them to put themselves out there, to get their products and services seen and heard by the right people so that they love doing the work they do. One of the things that I see that happens a lot, and by the way, if that's you, will you give me a thumbs up or a love heart on the screen? It'd be really great to see, even if you're watching on the replay, it's really great to get a temperature check of these things. And it also means that if this is something that you've experienced or are experiencing now, or maybe even struggling with, that I will share more around that in terms of the content that I provide here on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, or anywhere else. So, a couple of things to think about. Let's say, for example, you like my work and you say, I'm a web designer, and I'm going to say that I'm a web designer and a visibility specialist. The reason that I don't like that isn't because I'm saying you can't use my title. It's not about that actually. It means that as a web designer, there's an individual piece of gold that you bring to your clients, ideal or otherwise. There's something great that you're able to offer, and all of a sudden it gets masked behind the visibility specialist title. Because when somebody comes to you and has their website made or website designed, you are absolutely 100% great at doing that. But when they start to crumble and say, but I can't put myself out there, they go through an emotional upheaval, you now don't have the equipment and sometimes the patience to be able to help them on that side of things. And this is one of the biggest ways that I see people mask their genius, you know. They like the work that somebody else does and they think, well, this work is great, they've got an audience, it's selling, so I'm going to borrow that until I find my own voice. And this is the thing, I'm all about you owning, not just finding, but owning your voice so that you can put yourself out there with utmost confidence, whether it's to your family and friends, whether it's to your colleagues and co-workers, ex or otherwise, you know. That is why I get out of bed every morning. So I encourage you today to do this thing. And here's a quick tip before I have to go back to my client. So my tip for you is this: make space to be visible. So many people have got the platforms out there like the Facebook pages and things like that. Do you need to be on their email list, storing up, like, you know, I've had this conversation so recently with so many people, like over 200 outstanding unread emails from that person. If you're not reading them, then maybe you don't need to be part of them, you know. It could be that when you want to see the next video that they're making, that you go to their YouTube channel instead, you go to their Facebook page or their social media channel instead and consume the content from there. It could be that you decide that, you know, your inbox, you're not getting as much time to read all of those emails as you previously were. So that might be where you put your focus. So here's a tip that people don't talk about when it comes to being visible. I am the visibility specialist, known as the Queen of Being Seen. So make space to be visible. Declutter your emails. Declutter, you know, if you've got friends that seem to you've fallen foul of because they don't get why you're trying to start a business and they've got nothing positive to say, it might be that you need to declutter them from your contacts and your connections online. So that means that when you next show up for your video and you're feeling nervous anyway and you're talking about your products and services, you don't need to worry that, oh, they're going to be jumping in and having a look, because you've managed that part of your life, you know. I'm not talking about trashing the friends and people that have supported you all your life. I'm talking about the energy vampires, the people that you realise you don't have a connection with, you don't particularly like. Declutter where you can. Declutter electronically, declutter mentally. It could be a drawer that you've got which is full of old paperwork and old books that you don't even read anymore or like anymore. Get rid of them, give them to charity shops, give them, you know, hand them out to other people. Do that declutter and it makes the space for something else. Many of my clients that I share this with, when they make that space, they throw out the old, if you like. It makes space and creates a space for something new, exciting and energetic that helps them to then stand in their true purpose and be completely visible, completely seen and completely heard. I'd like to know, where are you going to start first? Where do you need a declutter? Type below wherever you're watching this video and let me know. I love to see how you get on with this. I need to get back to my VIP clients, so I'm going to go back and finish off my work with them, and I will see you again tomorrow. Now remember one thing, every Tuesday I encourage you to share a tip about what you do. It's Tuesday tip day, so if you haven't done it yet and you're watching this now and it's still Tuesday wherever you are in the world, then get a tip out there in front of your audience. Let them know what you're great at. If you're watching this and it's gone past Tuesday, you've got a whole week now to create and prepare a tip for next week, or even a load of tips for next month. Hopefully helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow live at 11:45. And if you just caught this, go back and watch the replay.